Hey, what's up, guys? It's the Sports Blitz here, and we're back with our NFL Week 14 power rankings. Week 13 is in the books, and the Detroit Lions have won their first game. Lions to the Super Bowl confirmed. No, I'm just kidding. But no, it was really cool though. Like I'll be completely honest. So I'm not a Lions fan, but like seeing the Lions win, like it made me feel like my team won. I really liked seeing it. Those of you who watch the channel a lot know I'm a big Dan Campbell fan. I know his players love him a lot as a coach. I just feel like he's an awesome guy, awesome coach. I feel like he's going to be able to help turn that franchise around. I really do. So it felt really special there. And I will say, the Lions are not at the 32 spot anymore in my power rankings. So let's go ahead and get into it. But before we do that, make sure to smash that like button. Hit the subscribe button as well. We're only 10 subscribers away from 750. So if you could help me with that, that'd be super appreciated. Also be sure to follow the Twitter. That link is in my description below. And number 32, I have the Houston Texans going down by 1. I mean, the Texans really can't get much worse. They're really not a good team. They got absolutely obliterated by the Colts. They've had a lot of games this year that weren't just, regular losses. Like, they got absolutely blown out. Like, they're not even being competitive anymore. And, I mean, I get they don't have really a great roster, but still, even with a first-year head coach, you'd at least like to see, a fairly competitive team at least, and they just haven't been that. So I wouldn't be surprised if David Coley gets fired after the season. I really wouldn't. So then, 31, I have the Jacksonville Jaguars, also going down by 1 after losing to the Rams. This is another team that, some games they play really, really tough and look like they have a good shot. Some games they get absolutely destroyed. This was one of those games that got absolutely destroyed. I've said from day one, even before the season started, I'm not a believer in Urban Meyer, and I'm still not. So, again, I wouldn't be surprised to see Urban Meyer get fired this offseason as well. But number 30, I have the Jets going down by 2. I thought Zach Wilson actually played pretty solid this game. I didn't think he was the reason they lost this game. He did make a few critical mistakes, but you got to expect that out of the rookies. Every rookie makes mistakes here and there. So I didn't think this game was all on him. But they did ultimately lose 33-18 against the Eagles. And props to Gardner Minshew for, coming in as a backup, doing exactly what that team needs him to do. I feel like he's one of the better backups in the league. I feel like on certain teams, he could probably start. Now, I'm not going to get ahead of myself. Jalen Hurts is still the starter. Jalen Hurts is still the better quarterback. Let's not kid ourselves. But Minshew played very, very well, and I do believe he can become a good starter in this league. But 29, I have the Detroit Lions. I'll be honest, I was really tempted to put the Lions at number 1, just as a joke, just as a meme, just to see, how everyone would react. But no, I decided to put them at number 29 though. I mean, they've had a lot of really, really close games. I mean, they tied it with the Steelers. They were if Justin Tucker had missed that 67-yard field goal when they played the Ravens, Lions would have won that. They just lose in the most unfortunate, heartbreaking ways. Like they've been competitive. That's what you want to see out of a first-year head coach. They have probably the worst roster in the league, and they're still competitive in most of the games they play. So I really like to see that. I think they're headed in the right direction. But 28, I have the Chicago Bears. Yeah, they are going down after losing to the Cardinals. I mean, the Cardinals are a good team. This, honestly, is more about. So let me hurry and jump 2 spots real quick to the Seattle Seahawks. They were originally at 28. They are going up by 2 after beating the 49ers. I wanted to move them up by more. I just wanted to see more from them. But yeah, the Chicago Bears going down is more because the Seattle Seahawks jumped them rather than because the Bears played that badly. Because they were pretty competitive with the Cardinals. Like, it wasn't an absolute blowout, but they did lose. Seattle won. So that's why they went down by 1. The other team that Seattle jumped was the Falcons, going down by 1 after losing to the Bucks. They kept it pretty competitive. I'll admit they kept it pretty close, especially during the first half. It was really cool seeing I believe it was Marlon Davidson get the pick 6 on the last play before halftime. It's always cool seeing big man touchdowns, especially when they come in the form of a pick 6. So that was really cool. I was really happy for him there. But ultimately, the Falcons did lose. But yeah, good performance, mainly in the first half by the Falcons. Like I said, Seahawks going up by 2, going up to 26. This still didn't really feel like the Seahawks team we all expected this year. Like, they weren't able to, completely air it out downfield. They weren't, like, blowing out their opponents. I mean, one of their, touchdowns came off a fake punt that went for 73 yards. They were running the ball not great, but at least fairly efficient. I thought Adrian Peterson did a fairly solid job there. So this wasn't really like a great Seahawks offensive performance. There were a lot of turnovers, especially in the first half as well, that really helped the Seahawks. So yeah, this was just a weird game. I don't want to get too ahead of myself and say that the Seahawks are back on track, because I don't think they're there yet. I think it's going to take a while. I feel like they're still kind of just... I feel like they're kind of out of the race this year. I really do. But 25, I have the Panthers. 0 is their bye week. They did fire offensive coordinator Joe Brady, so I feel like that's kind of a W in itself. But they also had to put Christian McCaffrey and Dante Jackson on season-ending IR, so that was really, really unfortunate for them. Their running backs coach, I forget his name, will take over offensive coordinator duties there. So it'd be interesting to see how different that changes. But yeah, because it's their bye week, didn't have a move at all. Then 24, I have the Saints. They did lose to the Cowboys, and I really wanted to drop them, but I couldn't really justify really dropping them below the Panthers or the Seahawks or the Falcons. Like, I mean, they're all playing about the same level of bad, Like, I don't know. I feel like this is... I don't know. I couldn't really justify, moving them down, especially with the Panthers' injuries and everything. I feel like they're both in rough spots, so I just kept them at 24. Number 23, I have the Giants going down by 1 after losing to the... Crap, who did they lose to? Who did the Giants play? Shoot, who did they play? Sorry about that, guys. The Giants lost to the Dolphins 20-9. I don't know why it slipped my brain right there, but yeah, they lost to the Dolphins 20-9. Daniel Jones is injured. Their backup is injured, so they are planning on starting third string quarterback Jake Fromm in their next game, so could be really rough sledding for the Giants going forward. I mean, I feel like they've been playing pretty well defensively lately. Just offense can't get anything going. They've had a lot of injuries this season, so it'll be interesting to see what ends up happening there. Then at number 22, I have the Denver Broncos. Broncos are an inconsistent team. They're a team that 1 week, again, they'll look really dominant. Another week, they'll look really bad. This game, I really didn't think they looked that bad. I mean, Javonte Williams ran the ball really well. He had 178 yards from scrimmage, so Williams looked really, really good against the Chiefs, but ultimately it wasn't enough to beat the Chiefs. So I had them moving down by 2. Then at number 21, I have the Raiders going down by 2 after losing to the Washington football team. Washington has now won, I believe it's 4 games straight, and is just on a roll right now. Raiders have been kind of struggling lately. I thought after they beat the Cowboys on Thanksgiving Day, I thought that they'd be able to get back on track, but that wasn't really the case. They ended up losing to Washington. So the Raiders are confusing. I'm not exactly sure what they are right now. They're kind of starting to look like the team that I thought they'd be at the beginning of the season, rather than what we thought after the first 5 weeks. So yeah, it'll be really interesting to see what happens with the Raiders here. Number 20, I have the Steelers going up by 3 after beating Baltimore. This game was won on the back of their defense. Their defense dominated. TJ Watt had, I want to say, 3.5 sacks on Lamar Jackson and just absolutely dominated. It is a night and day difference when TJ Watt is playing versus when he isn't. And it's weird for one defensive player to make that huge of an impact on a game, but the Steelers are that much better of a team when he's playing. So it was definitely the right decision to pay him in the offseason. Number 19, I have the Minnesota Vikings going down by 3 after losing to the Lions. Vikings are another team that really confuses me. Again, they're a team that, 1 week they'll be absolutely dominant and, just really control the game. They're never going to be a team that absolutely blows out their opponent, but there's weeks that they're dominant and control the game really, really well. But then there's some weeks that you're just like, what the hell are they doing? This was kind of one of those weeks. I strongly believe Mike Zimmer needs to go after this season. I think he's done. His play calling is too conservative. He's not great at making adjustments. They've got to make a coaching change. I feel like he's starting to kind of lose the guys in the locker room. Number 18, I have the Miami Dolphins going up by 3 after beating the Giants. Dolphins now have won, I believe this is 5 games straight. I believe they're 6-7 now, if I'm not mistaken. So, yeah, the Dolphins are cruising. Their defense is looking a lot more like what we thought it'd be at the beginning of the season. They're kind of figuring things out. Tua is looking really good now. His connection with Jalen Waddle continues to grow and look really good. They've still got a ways to go in their run game. I feel like there's still a lot to figure out there. But, and their offensive line is looking a little bit better as well. Dolphins are starting to look pretty good. I'm interested to see where that takes them. Number 17, I have the Eagles going up by 1. I mean, they beat the Jets. They also did it with a backup quarterback. So it was good enough for me to move them up by 1, but not enough to move them up, higher than these next few teams. So let's get into that. Number 16, I have the Washington football team. I mean, they've won, I believe, 4 straight. Their defense is playing well. Taylor Heineke is playing really well right now. Antonio Gibson is running the ball really well. That team is just meshing right now. It's looking like a strong team. And really, I wouldn't be surprised if they end up being one of the NFC playoff teams. It's really looking promising right now. 15, I have the San Francisco 49ers going down by 3 after losing to the Seahawks. Again, I didn't think this was like a dominant game by the Seahawks. There were a lot of costly turnovers by both teams in the first half. That long fake punt touchdown by the Seahawks really helped them out. But yeah, it was a competitive game. It was a fun game to watch. But yeah, ultimately the 49ers couldn't pull it out, and Seahawks won. 14, I have the Browns. It was their bye week. Didn't really see any reason to move them. 13, I have the Colts going up by 2 after beating the Texans. Now this one's kind of a mixture, more of, I believe in the Colts going forward. I believe they'll get a lot more wins going forward, and I think they'll have a good chance at making the playoffs. But also a mix of, the 49ers dropping down, that moved them up. I don't feel like really beating the Texans was really enough to move them up by 2 spots. Again, a lot of it is because of the Niners losing, as well as me believing in the Colts going forward. Number 12, I have the Bengals going down by 2 after losing to the Chargers. Again, another confusing team. They're so inconsistent. I felt like Burrow had a pretty solid game. I feel like they ran the ball pretty well. Defense absolutely blew the game for them. The defense cannot be allowing 41 points in a game. Like, that's you're not going to win if you allow that much. So, bad performance by the defense. This team needs to be more consistent. Number 11, I have the Rams going up by 2. Again, this was a mixture of, they beat the Jaguars really bad, but also the Bengals dropping. That's really the main reason they're going up by 2 here. If the Bengals had won that game, I'd really only have the Rams go up by 1 here. Because I don't feel like it's that big of an accomplishment to beat the Jaguars. But yeah, the Bengals lost, and that was a lot of the reason why the Rams jumped another spot. Number 10, we have the Dallas Cowboys going up by 1 after beating the Saints. Something still seems to be wrong with Zeke. I think his injury is a bigger concern than we realize. I feel like it would have been smart to rest him during this game, especially because of how good of a game Tony Pollard had. But, Cowboys did end up winning, so they're going up by 1. Number 9, I have the Ravens going down by 3 after losing the Steelers. Their offense just got absolutely dominated by the Steelers' defense. Again, T.J. Watt makes that defense so much different, and in a good way, obviously. So yeah, the Ravens ended up losing. Number 8, I have the Chargers going up by 1 after beating the Bengals. I really debated leaving them at number 9. I couldn't decide whether it was, whether I should leave them at number 9 and have the Ravens at 8, or if I should just move the Chargers up by 1 and have the Ravens at 9. that's ultimately what I decided to do. I feel like these teams are both pretty inconsistent as well. I mean, Justin Herbert does have a few interception issues, but, you know, he's also third in the league in touchdown passes. So he really makes up for it right there. But yeah, the Chargers, another inconsistent team. Like, there's so many inconsistent teams this year that it makes it hard to do the power rankings because, you know, there's so much movement. But number 7, I have the Titans. It was their bye week, but they went up by 1 because the Ravens dropped down by 3 spots, just default. Number 6, I have the Buffalo Bills going up by 1. I know they lost, okay? I know they lost, but I still firmly believe they're a better team than the Ravens, Chargers, and Titans, and I wasn't about to put them at like the number 10 spot. You know, I feel like they played the Patriots really, really tough, and I didn't really feel like it was deserving to drop them here. So I decided to move them to number 6. Oops. And then, spoiler alert, there's no movement in my top 5. Everything in my top 5 is staying how it was last week. Chiefs, Bucks, Cardinals, Packers, and number 1, the Patriots. So, I mean, all of these teams won this week, except obviously the Packers had their bye week. I mean, I don't see any reason to move these standings around at all. I mean, the Patriots have now won 7 games straight, I believe it is. Their defense is just absolutely dominant. Like, they have the best defense in the NFL. Before, it was kind of a, you know, it was kind of a mixture, or not a mixture, but it was debatable between them, Bills, and for a while, the Panthers. Panthers are completely out of that running now. I don't think they're even a top 5 defense anymore. But yeah, it was the Patriots and Bills for a while. Patriots showed me yesterday that they're the best defense in the league. Just absolutely dominant. And yeah, that's kind of my power ranking. So let me know what you agree with, what you don't agree with. You know, leave your opinions in the comment section below. Smash the like button. Make sure to subscribe. Help me reach 750. And I'll see you next time. Later.